guys, and welcome to our channel today. And today I have my friend Grace. Hi, Grace.
Hi, thank you for having me here today.
You're welcome. I'm so happy that you're joining me today, especially in this conversation.
Yeah.
So, Grace and I come from Kenya. I'm so excited to host her. She also has a YouTube channel. And what's the name of your YouTube channel?
My YouTube channel name is Gigi Princess TV.
Yes, so please go check her out. She has wonderful content that she shares.
Yeah, a lot of good content. If you're into God, if you're into like wanting to see another black girl or another teenager just, living her life. If you want to see day in the life or vlogs or just, I think my content would be very great. And thank you so much. Yeah.
Absolutely. And cheers to that, Grace. Yes. So but first of all, let's take a sip. It's orange juice. But that's the exciting thing I love about Grace is she loves the Lord, and she shares with other teenagers that how you can live your life for Christ, how you can truly live your life for Jesus, even as a young person. And I think that's a wonderful thing that you're doing, Grace, because we need role models for young people, right? We need role models for our children. So I think what you're doing is amazing, and I encourage you to keep going. Yes, and today Grace is going to share with us about school, because just like I moved here from Kenya, Grace has also moved here when she was a bit younger with her family.
Yeah.
And before my son moved here as well, I did ask Grace, how is school here? How was it for you? How was the transition? And I think that really helped me to also prepare for my son when he comes and gets started with school here. And that's the conversation we'll be looking at today, just getting to hear how is school in Canada, how is it different from Kenya, and how can we best prepare? How can what are some of the things that we can pick from both systems? Because both education systems are amazing, right?
Yeah.
And as we do that, we are making banana
bread.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Yes, actually, and guys, we're making banana bread with not with wheat flour. We're making the healthy version with almond flour. Yes, and it's gonna be loaded with chocolate chips. Yes. So we are going to be having that conversation as we make our banana bread. Yes. Okay. So first of all, we do have bananas here.
Yeah. I already mashed.
Yeah, Grace did a good work of mashing, and we have one more to go. So for this banana bread, you definitely need nice bananas that are overripe. Overly ripe bananas are the best. So Grace, when did you and your family move to Canada?
So my family came to Canada when I was 7 years old. Almost 10 years ago, December 2015. Which is crazy because 2015 feels like just yesterday.
Yes, it does. That's right.
So that's when we moved here, and I started living with some family members that were already living here. And the journey was like I was so nervous coming here because I knew I was gonna meet new people.
Yes.
And my English wasn't the best. Now, I'm speaking in English, but my English is good now. But at the time, it wasn't the best, and I was just nervous. Mostly, I was just nervous to meet new people. Yeah.
You know what? I think I like what you're saying, Grace, because I think that's always the one of the things that is a huge, fear when we are moving abroad. I mean, even for me, who've moved to Japan before and now to Canada, I was always like, I don't know anybody in Japan, and when I went to Japan, and I was like, oh, how is it going to be? Am I going to be accepted? It's people from different cultures, and of course, we also have accent. So we speak English, yes, but we also have an accent, and sometimes people will be like, excuse me, what did you say? And those can be challenges, right? But I was especially like having the challenge with my son. I was like, it's not really challenge, but those fears you have as a parent, you're like, how are they going to find a school? How are they going to, are they going to fit in those are all genuine fears that we do have. Now, first, tell us how about your school in Kenya. What school did you go to? Do you remember the name of the school?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to say the name, but how was your experience?
Okay. So
this is the point where we add the eggs.
Yeah, I'll hand this over to you.
Thank you.
So to answer Julie's question, my school, I think I went to a Catholic school at first. I went to 2 schools in Kenya before I came here. When I came to Canada is when I started grade 2. So I did JK, SKJK, and grade 1 kindergarten in Kenya. And a lot of people knew me in Kenya because, like, my mom, she knew a lot of the teachers there. So a lot of students knew me, and I was very good at, like, talking. I was, like, teacher's favorite. So I was always,
you were your teacher's favorite?
Yeah, I was teacher's favorite.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so, a lot of kids knew me, and yeah.
That's amazing, because my son moved here when he was also 7, and he was in grade 2. So when he was in Kenya, he was in grade 2. Yeah, he was just like in the middle of grade 2, and he moved here. But of course, here the age, they look at the age and decide what grade you're going to be, not the grade you are in your country. So he had to wait for September to join school. And they say that, and because he's 7, he's supposed to be in grade 2. Did you have to repeat a class when you came?
I think I did, but I'm not too sure though. But I do remember I started off in grade 2.
Okay, okay, and that's good because you're 7 years old, right?
Yeah, 7.
Okay, and now Grace, tell us how did you find the transition, like going to the school here, and did you like have any challenges? Did you have any, was it a smooth transition?
Well, it wasn't really a smooth transition because I was very nervous. A lot of people when I came to Canada, people already had their friend group. People had already made their friends, so I was like the odd one out because I was a new student. And it was very hard for me to join certain friend groups because they already made their friends and some kids didn't want to play with me. So I was left alone by myself, and on top of that, I was also like struggling with school, so it was kind of like really, really hard for me to make friends. I did make a few friends, but I never really vibed with them. I never really like connected a lot with them. And when I did, we were just playing like hide and seek or the activities that kids in grade 2 play. But I really struggled making friends, and I think that's because seeing different races, like like I definitely learned that people were different. People are different, but that's when like I started discovering that I was not white because other people like were white, and it was kind of hard for me to like see the beauty that I have in my skin because I would see the white people were always chosen and I was never chosen, and it was kind of like, why am I not being chosen? So I always thought that white people were better because they were chosen, and I wasn't chosen because I was black. Which was really hard. And to be honest, I still see that in my school today, but I feel like I'm getting better now that I'm older. I'm 16. I'm no longer 7 years old, so I have better coping skills. I have better I have better knowledge about that, and of course I have God on my side. I have
Amen.
Jesus. I just bring that all over to Him. I send that all to Him, and He solves it. And I realize that there's beauty in my skin as well. So really, that's a beauty that I need to see. I don't need to be focused on, this girl's better than me because she's white. Because there's also beauty in my skin as well.
Yes. Wait, let's stop there. I think, Grace, we need to say this as loud as we can. There's beauty in my skin. Yes, there is beauty in my skin, because a lot of people, we think just because we are different skin that we are not beautiful. Hey, we are beautiful. Like Grace, look at us. Look at you. Look at you. We are beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? It's just because sometimes people do not appreciate the beauty in our color. Some people do, and I'm so grateful.
Yeah, like, I'm grateful for them too.
Yes, I'm so grateful. And I'm married to a man who's white, and I'm so grateful because this man loves me, Grace. And he sees the beauty in me, and he reminds me every day that he loves me, and he tells me that every day. And that's why I'm saying that some people will not see the beauty. They refuse to see the beauty in your skin, right? But it's very important for us to remember that, and also to remind ourselves that there's beauty in our skin. We are beautiful. I mean, God chose to add, to create us like this, and that's such a blessing, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's something we need to make sure we tell people to embrace, especially the young people. Yeah, because there's there are mean people out there who will say all sorts of things, but that's something we need to always remind ourselves. And you know what, Grace, that's also something that I need to I remind my son. And when before he started school, I had to have a conversation with him and explain to him that when you go to your school, you find different people. Yeah, different people. In my son's classroom, I love the teacher. She's amazing. It's a multicultural class.
Yeah.
You find students from Asia, of Asian ethnicity. Others are from here, the white. Others are from Africa, like us. And basically, it's a whole mix. And I think that's very beautiful, because everybody is beautiful in their own skin, no matter what color, how tall,
or how dark, light you are.
Yeah, you are beautiful.
You are beautiful.
Yes, and I think that's one thing that we need to emphasize. And I am so happy, Grace, that you say that, because you know what? A lot of people need to hear that. A lot of people think I need to be this color to be beautiful, but no, you need to be who you are.
You need to be who you are.
You need to embrace who you are.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because I guarantee there's people who will love you just for who you are. All you have to do is just be yourself. And the people who don't are the people who don't. It's just that.
Yeah,
but the people who do, there's people who will love you just for you being you.
Yes, absolutely. That's very true. That's very true, and I love that, and I love what you've also said, Grace, because it's something that we're not prepared for when you're moving abroad, and especially you're relocating permanently. We're not prepared for these things, and it's conversations that we need to have openly, so that we help others to embrace that. And especially if they go to school and working and everywhere. So I really do love that. So, and how have you found the curriculum compared to Kenya and Japan? And guys, we're still making this.
Yeah, we're still making it.
Yeah, and this is a part where we add the almond flour. This almond flour is really healthy. So if you are trying to look for a healthy option for dessert, I would highly recommend this.
Almond flour.
Yes.
So your question was about the curriculum, how it's different from Kenya to Canada.
Yeah.
Well, I would say it's very, very, very different. It's a lot harder. Well, I only stayed in Kenya till I was 7 years old. So the only education I did was up to grade 1. So I never really did high school. Like I'm doing my high school education and my elementary education. I did it all here in Canada, so I don't really know like what to say when it comes to high school education and elementary education in Kenya. But I'm just gonna talk more in a Canadian aspect as to like Canadian high school education and elementary school education, because that's what I experienced and that's what I did here, and I'm still doing that. I'm still in high school, so I would say it is very, very, very different. It is a lot harder, especially as like I feel like that's just school, like the higher grade that you go from grade 2 to 3, grade 4 to 5, 6, 7, 8. It gets harder each time because you're learning new concepts. But for me, it was a lot harder because I was also learning about different people and seeing different people, also learning different things. So when you put that all together, it was like like my mind was all over the place because I had a really hard time learning because I just saw different people. Like I was very insecure, And I was just comparing myself to white girls, and I was like, yeah, but they're better, and you know, I'm just this short black girl with the short, you know, curly hair, and I'm just walking to schools, and I see, you know, like I had a few crushes, and they never really saw me.
They never responded.
They never saw me.
It's
so they always saw the white girl. So I'm like, okay, so obviously there has to be something wrong with me because I'm black. So, you know, and as I got, you know, like older, when I was in grade 6 is when it hit me, is when I learned a lot about racism because I experienced it myself. And I had a teacher who was not very, like, the teacher knew that I was black, but he would always point it out. And it would just make me feel, like, insecure because not only was I the only black kid in the class, I mean, I wasn't the only black kid, but, like, there were other black kids, but I was the darkest kid. Like, I had the darkest shade out of all the other black children in the class. And he pointed that out. And so to this day, I'm dark, but I feel like other people would notice that and they would point it out. And to be honest, I just had to realize that racism is just because people are insecure and they just want to point out like the skin of other people because they want to lower black excellence, but really it's all because we have to rise up. Because as black people, we have to be better than what we're expected to be. You know, because some black people, all we're expected to do is, you know, the stereotypes. But we have to be bigger and better. We have to work harder. And we have to raise the standard. Because if, for example, if you're in the office and you have white coworkers and you're the only black coworker, they're going to look at you a certain way. I mean, it depends, but there's obviously a level of, okay, you're the only black coworker, and they already have their mind set on what you're gonna do and how you're gonna be, and there's already racism, and there's already, you know, and especially if you're a black woman, that's also harder as well. So you're gonna have to rise and be better. I don't know if you guys are getting what I'm saying, but you know, you just have to rise that standard because if you think you're doing good, you are not doing enough. You have to be better because that's just the world that we're living in. Is that people view black women, people view black people, but especially black women and black girls, they view them a certain way. And now we have to rise higher than that so that we show them, but also show ourselves and show the world that we are not what you say we are.
I absolutely love that. I love that. And you know what, Grace, I think I like that you were able to grasp that like early and realize that, you know, you have to first of all work on your self-confidence.
You do.
Because you don't live by what people say, but you live by what you know and you know about yourself and you believe, right? And I think also just knowing God and drawing strength from God, that's the most important thing. And you know what comes to mind right now, it's this is scripture from Joshua 1:9. It says, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And this was when God was telling Joshua. This is just when Moses died and Moses was the leader. And now Joshua has been told, you're going to be the leader. You're the new leader because Moses is dead. And then he's like, ooh, you know. And then, but God tells him, be strong, be courageous. Do not fear. And why? Because the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. So that means that, you know, you've got to be strong and courageous. You know, and so if Joshua wasn't strong and courageous, God said, you've got to be strong and courageous. You've got to stand up. You've got to stand up, you know, and lead these people. You're probably not going to lead, but you're going to lead these people. And he said, but do not be afraid. Like, that's God saying, do not be afraid. You know what? Because God knows the things that are going to scare you. The things that are going to put you down. But do not be afraid. Stand up. Do not be afraid. But the most encouraging thing is, he says to Joshua that I will be with you wherever. I will be with you, like knowing
you
that I have God.
Yeah.
I can go anywhere.
Wherever
I can
you
do
go.
anything.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the most beautiful thing about God, that just knowing that we have a backup.
Yeah.
That no, I'm not strong. I have a God who is strong. I have a God who is mighty. I have a God who is able to do amazingly, abundantly, above and beyond what I think and imagine. Right, Grace? So I think that's the most beautiful thing. And yes, we have to stand up for ourselves. We have to speak up for ourselves, because if we don't, you know, we're gonna just go down. And you know, this whole thing about moving from your country and starting a new life in a different country, where you have to embrace, you know, deal with everything new, is not easy. But I have to ask you this, talking about dealing with new things, Grace, how do you deal with the snow? Because I know you know, you probably came and had your first season of snow.
Yeah.
How did you deal with it? How did you embrace it?
My season of snow?
Yes.
Okay, so I was really excited, because another reason why I was like so excited to come to Canada was because I wanted to see the snow. And if you guys live in Canada as well, you know that it snows a lot.
Yes.
So till to this day, I can still remember my first snowfall, and it was beautiful. I loved seeing the white snow, and it was like glittery and shiny. And I would have these. I had purple snow pants. I had a red and black squared jacket, and I had really big purple boots. And I would walk to school, you know, and I would play in the snow during my lunch, like during my recess time.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun, and I just embraced it because it was beautiful. It was amazing, and I think any other child would say the same thing, because you know, you go out, you get to play, and I feel like it was also a way for me to get out of my reality, for me to, you know, out of like all the racism and everything else. I was just like, let me just go play in the snow, you know, and have some fun, and then forget about everything else. And I was just a child, so I would just go and play and have fun. Yeah. And sometimes I would play too much, but you know,
Do you still love the snow too?
Yeah, I still love the snow. I still love the snow. I may not play in it as much as I used to, but I try to like make time to go out and play and make a snowman, you know? I'm a snow angel.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. It's great. So guys, we're still making our banana bread, and as you can see, our butter is ready. So we're gonna transfer it, and it's gonna move to the oven. But if you do have any questions for Grace or for me about Canada, and you know, anything you probably want to know about Canada, feel free to ask. Or if you want to know anything about the banana bread,
or the ingredients we used, or how long we kept the bananas for.
Yes.
Yeah, anything.
Okay, so we're going to move on